There's this fundamental flaw in how most of us are using AI, especially when we throw our own documents at it. But what if I told you there's a revolutionary idea, one from OpenAI co-founder Andrej Karpathy, that could finally give your AI a permanent memory? I mean, really think about it. Have you ever noticed this? You upload a bunch of files to an AI, you ask a question, and you get a great answer. But then you ask it something similar the next day, and it has to do all that work all over again, right from scratch. It's got no memory of what it just learned. It's like every single conversation starts from absolute zero. And this slide, well, it really lays out the two different worlds we're talking about. On one side, you have how most AI works right now. The techie term is stateless, but all that really means is it has zero memory of what happened before. It's a clean slate every single time. But on the other side, you have this LLM Wiki idea, and this is all about building a knowledge base that compounds over time. It actually gets smarter the more you feed it. All right, so let's dig into this memory problem a little deeper, because once you really get why the current way is flawed, you'll see just how powerful this wiki idea truly is. Okay, so the tech that powers most of these tools you're probably using, it's called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG for short. And here's what it does. Every time you ask a question, it frantically speed reads through all your documents, grabs a few chunks it thinks are relevant, and then tries to stitch together a brand new answer right there on the spot. It's pretty clever for sure, but that answer, it's built to exist for just that one single moment. This analogy just hits it perfectly. Using RAG is like having a brilliant researcher who gets total amnesia after every single task. Imagine you ask a complex question, one that needs ideas from 5 different documents. The AI has to find and piece together all those little fragments from scratch every single time. There's just no buildup of knowledge. And let's not forget the cost. You are literally paying for the AI to rediscover the same information over and over and over again. So that brings us to the solution. It's this really elegant concept from Andrej Karpathy, who, was one of the key figures at OpenAI, and he calls it the LLM Wiki. And here is the total paradigm shift. Instead of rereading your raw files for every single query, the AI reads them just once. From that one read, it builds a structured, interlinked knowledge base, basically your own personal wiki. So now, when you add a new document, it doesn't just sit in a folder. No, the AI reads it, understands it, and actually weaves that new information into the structure it's already built. All the heavy lifting is done up front, which means every question you ask from then on is super fast and way cheaper. And Karpathy came up with this brilliant analogy that makes it all click. He says to think of a tool like Obsidian as the IDE. That's just the editor, the window you look through. The LLM, the AI, that's your programmer, the one doing all the hard work. And the wiki itself, that's the code base. It's this living, breathing project that your AI programmer is constantly working on, maintaining, and improving for you. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. How does this thing actually get built? You might be surprised by just how simple and elegant the architecture is. So, it all boils down to 3 simple layers. First, you've got your raw sources. These are your original PDFs, your articles, whatever. They're the source of truth, and the AI never ever changes them. Second, you have the wiki itself. This is just a folder of files that the AI creates, links together, and maintains all on its own. And third, there's the schema. Think of this as the rulebook. It's a simple document you write to tell the AI how to build the wiki and what the pages should look like. All right, this is where it gets really cool. Let's walk through a real-world example so you can see this compounding knowledge in action. Let's say we're planning a trip to Japan. So, step 1. We drop our very first document into that raw folder. For this example, it's a travel blog post about all the cool things to do in Tokyo. Okay, now here's what happens. The AI doesn't just, file it away. It actively reads the article and starts to build. It creates these nice, structured pages for the key places it finds, like, say, the neighborhoods of Shinjuku and Shibuya, and immediately starts linking them together. Okay, awesome. Now let's add a second source. This time, it's a super detailed guide all about Japanese food. And here is the magic moment. The AI doesn't just make a new, isolated page called food. No way. It reads the food guide, and then it goes back to those existing pages for Shinjuku and Shibuya and updates them with all the relevant restaurant and food info it just learned. It's not just adding information, it's enriching what it already knows. And you can just see the difference this makes. I mean, after that first document, you have a nice little knowledge base. But after you add the second one, it's not just bigger, it's denser. You have more concepts, more connections crisscrossing between them. The wiki is literally getting smarter before your eyes. So this whole system runs on three main operations. You've got ingest, which is just feeding it new stuff and letting it integrate everything. You've got query, which is when you ask questions, but it's talking to the organized wiki, not the messy raw files. And then there's lint, which is just a brilliant idea. This is where you can tell the AI to do a health check on itself, to go look for contradictions, find orphaned pages, or even flag outdated information.
Okay, so what? Why does any of this really matter for you? I mean, what can you actually do with a personal knowledge base that an AI builds and maintains for you?
Well, the possibilities are, honestly, they're huge. Imagine being a student or a researcher, and instead of a chaotic folder full of PDFs, you have a genuine, interconnected knowledge base that you can explore. Or what about for your team at work? Creating a team wiki from meeting notes and project docs that actually finally stays up to date all by itself. Heck, you could build your own personal encyclopedia about anything you're curious about, whether it's ancient Rome or the entire lore of your favorite video game series. And that's the core value, right there. It's so simple and so powerful. Your job becomes the fun part, curating the information, finding great sources, and asking good questions. The AI, its job is all the tedious bookkeeping. The summarizing, the linking, the organizing, all the grunt work that usually makes us give up. And this, right here, is why this idea is such a game changer. Think about every time you've tried to start a personal wiki or a note system. Why do they usually fail? It's the maintenance, right? It becomes a massive chore. We get busy, we forget to update things. But for an LLM that never gets tired, never gets bored, and never forgets, the cost of that maintenance drops to pretty much zero. So let's just end with this question. This whole idea isn't about replacing how you think. It's about augmenting it by taking away all the boring, tedious organization. So, if you had an AI that could handle all that messy bookkeeping for you, letting your personal knowledge truly grow and compound over time, what would you build?
Enhance your coding skills with us. Don't forget to subscribe to Code 5 Food for the latest updates and tutorials.